Hi, beautiful people. This is the Sincerely Cast podcast. I am your host, Cassandra. If you are new here, welcome. If you have seen and heard my episodes before, welcome back. I'm so excited to be here for the second episode of this season where we navigate all things adulthood, Millennial edition. I have low-key limited time because I have a job. But if you're here, if you're tuning in, if this is your first time watching this, these episodes are in no way, shape, or form therapy. I'm a licensed mental health counselor. I'm a dog mom. I'm an overthinker. And most importantly, I'm a millennial. Before I would do mental health episodes, and it just burnt me out because I felt like I had to uphold this licensed mental health counselor image, and I am far away from being perfect and having my shit figured out. Like I don't have it figured out. I don't have anything figured out. This is my third day out here. So if you're here, we're going to navigate life. We're going to navigate love. We're going to navigate all things adulthood, parenting. If you're a single parent, I'm not a parent, but I am a dog mom, like I said. So it's kind of the same, kind of. And so, like I said, I have a limited time today because I have sessions coming up. Didn't work out yesterday, so I have to work out today. And I'm traveling tomorrow, so I have to pack. It is just crazy out here, truly. I want you to grab your drink of choice, get a little cozy. My mom's gonna kill me because I just spilled. I just spilled on her thing. And right before that, I ended up grabbing a coaster and I still ended up spilling. Sorry, Mom. Grab your drink of choice and we are gonna dive right in. Okay, beautiful people. Today we are going to talk about prioritizing self-care as a millennial when everything is so damn expensive. If you are anything like me, therapy is a must. Therapy is a must. I love therapy. It's a vibe. It's a vibe that I hope I never have to give up. Since I am a licensed mental health counselor, it's really important that I do have a therapist. It's just a rule of thumb. If you are a mental health counselor and you don't have a therapist, I 10 out of 10 recommend. I also understand that things happen whether you are new or if you are already seasoned. I just recommend having some sort of mentor or therapist because let's be honest, we are not robots. We still, while holding space for other people, have to learn to hold space for ourselves. So we're going to talk about prioritizing self-care on a budget. And sometimes this looks like no. Thank you. Hey, enough. Scarlett, go to place. You're going to go to place. Thank you. We got dogs because they're so cute. And then they ended up being Belgian Malinois, Maligators. And instead of them soothing our anxiety with their cuteness, they just added to it and they came with their own. They're about to start barking like crazy because the mailman is coming. But anyway, so how the hell as a millennial can you afford therapy? I don't have insurance. I was working for Delta Airlines. It was like one of the best and one of the worst moments of my life. It sounds like I'm exaggerating, and I truly wish I was, but I'm not. Loved some of the people that I met, still talk to them today, and it's just like I just love them. You know who you are. So that part was really cool, but I also a lot of bumps along the way, but that's okay. Honestly, I'm not apologetic for a lot of things because people can be assholes and liars. I just love them. But in the end, remember, truth always prevails. And as long as you know who you are, as long as you know what actually happened, no one can take that from you. Anyway, I left Delta, and so I didn't have insurance anymore. And that the worst. That is the worst, especially living in America where you have to pay to stay alive. You have to pay in order to remain sane. It's it just doesn't make sense. But I didn't have insurance for about a month last month, and so I'm going to share a little bit of the things that ended up helping me. Remember, one size shoe does not fit all. But these are some of the things that helped me during the time that I didn't have a therapist. I'm kind of going to go through the list a little bit quick because, like I said, I have places to go, people to see. So, number one, immediately awareness. Like your level of awareness needs to be top notch. I was aware that I was going to have to essentially let go of my previous therapist. And I was aware that what would come after that is a lot of anxiety because I'm like, oh my God, am I going to be able to navigate life without having someone to unpack things with on a consistent basis? Granted, at this point, I had left Delta a little while now. So I was already only seeing her once a month because that's all I could afford because they're so expensive. Trust me, I get it. I had to really be honest with myself and say, okay, I did my budget and I have to let this go, which is so ironic that a lot of the times we let go of things that are actually good for us, actually healthy for us. It's also so sad that it comes down to that because we shouldn't have to be thinking about letting things like therapy or healthcare go. That in and of itself is the issue. That's going to be on the bulletin board. That's the main issue. But we're still living in a world where that is the reality. And so, yeah, we're going to have to talk about it, and we're going to have to talk about ways to mitigate that. I don't know if I used that right. Let me see. Mitigate meaning. Oh, I kind of used that right a little bit, I think. So anyway, the first thing that helped for me was the awareness of all of this happening because I am inclined to engage in negative self-talk or automatically assume that I must have been doing something wrong with my budget, etc. I needed to just sit down and be real and locate what the actual issue is first. I had to remind myself that I'm doing the best I can. Sometimes you are doing the best you can. Ironically, what also helped was the budget sheet that I have. I've had a budget sheet since I began talking to my financial advisor, which it's been years, maybe a year that I haven't spoken to him. It's an on and off again relationship. Wow, like I really do have a pattern. Anyway, I've had a budget sheet ever since then. It has been a game changer, although sometimes I see her, but I'm still gonna buy this latte. And I'm still gonna go get some birria tacos, and I'm still gonna go get some margs. Sometimes your priorities change and it's okay. Like you don't have to have it all together, remember. But having a budget sheet, like it really does help set the blueprint. So level of awareness, having a budget sheet, because remember, we're talking about self-care on a budget. The third thing that was helpful for me was, as a woman, knowing about my menstrual cycle. Men, I'm going to put you to the side for a second. During that month, I had kind of picked up every month during my luteal phase, I feel like I'm having a depressive episode. And when I got to understand that there is a literal hormonal imbalance that's kind of happening, it was perfect because I had my therapist who I can just cry in front of and all of that stuff. But now that I wasn't going to have her, I had to quickly figure out what I was going to do. And it was approaching pretty fast. So journaling, journaling helps. For those of you who don't know, your luteal phase is going to be the phase right before you actually get your period. And it is the phase where your body, I'll talk about the surface level. A woman's body is designed to procreate during ovulation. It's waiting for sperm to just enter, and it's preparing to grow a life. When ovulation period finishes and your body realizes that there is no baby to be made and created, it's almost like, what the men are no good for nothing. You're angry, you're pissed. You're not gonna believe what just happened. I actually recorded about 15 minutes worth of content, and my other mic, shut off. When I went to go look at it, it's just mute. So I'm just yapping away and there is no sound. Second of all, I thought I had to hop off right away because I had a call. And it turns out that my call is not even until another hour. I'm over here like rushing, and I didn't have to. I swear, if my head was not on my body, I would lose that shit. Anyway, going back to the luteal phase, we have 4 phases. The luteal phase goes right before we actually get our menstrual cycle. And essentially, women's bodies are designed to procreate. When that doesn't happen, we release, I think, the eggs. I don't know all of this shit, which is actually sad. I don't know if they teach this to us in health class growing up, but maybe we're too young to learn about that. They need to have a health class for us being adults. Now that we can actually comprehend and actually give a shit about these things because we're living it. Trademark. When that doesn't happen, when you don't have sex or when sperm doesn't enter, like, you're not gonna have a baby, the body gets pissed. And it's basically like, what just happened? Where is my baby? Especially if you have a partner. Men, you can enter the chat again because you're gonna learn a lot. If you have a girlfriend, or ladies, if you find yourself being super irritated at your partners and you can't understand why, you just are, they didn't put a baby in you. Their bodies are pissed. And yeah, so that's what's happening on a more biological sense. In a mental health aspect, your luteal phase is going to bring up themes or wounds that are not yet healed. And so it is really important to pay attention to what those themes are. If you find yourself in your luteal phase constantly worrying about your relationship, it's probably relationship anxiety that has not been worked through. Could be from your present relationship, could be from something in the past. I always attribute everything to childhood upbringing because, let's be honest, we're millennials and we had the perfect childhood according to our parents. So you want to pay attention to the themes that continue to circle around every month when you're about to get your period. So going back to me, that's what I had to sit with. I knew that that's what was coming up, and I knew that I was not going to have the resource of therapy to be able to unpack. And so this is where 2 things came in: journaling and community. Having my sister, having my best friend. My nose is so itchy, sorry guys. They would have to hear all my shit. And a lot of the times, like when you hear people talk and you're just like, are you hearing yourself talk? I'm pretty sure that's how they feel about me, or felt about me. But they love me and I love them, and I'm so grateful for them. But having community really helps. Maybe you do want to be the type of person to build community, but you're just not sure how to. Something else that I had started to do, letting go of fear. I'm sorry. I know we don't want to hear that because that in and of itself has like 20 more steps depending on who you are and the actual things that come up for you when you have to think about having courage and doing hard things. But for me, yes, having my sister is awesome. She has her own shit going on and she's the older child. Like, we had really deep conversations, and I don't want to continue to be that burden who just unloads. And with my best friend, she's a single mom. I don't want to unload on her either, right? And so it is so important to have at least a bit more. And it could work. It could work with limited people. Y'all just have to be on the same page and be super communicative of like, hey, sis, I don't have the capacity to hold space for you right now, but can't check in with you like at another time. And even vice versa, like if they were to tell me that, I would be like, damn, they must be going through something right now too, right? And clearly we are all needing to vent or whatever. Side note, I'm just thinking it would be good to have just a little outing or a little FaceTime call where we each kind of set timers where we can actually talk about the things that we're going through. That would be cute. Anyway, I had to take it upon myself. If I want more friends, I need to go out and get more friends. Like, so we have threads now. Their social media is insane. It is actually insane. It's very scary. But on the flip end, it's almost like, wow, the amount of networking that can be done through there. And so I had created a thread talking about like any girls on Long Island, etc. I have not kept up with it. I feel like this past month has been just insane. So I have to get back on it. But sometimes you just have to put yourself out there. And if you really want to, but haven't got the chance to, you got to figure out what's standing in the way. If you're really thinking about it, but then the thought of it is just overwhelming, there's something else that's going on there. You have to identify what that is so we can get it out of the way. So going on with the list, having dogs, if you are a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This part is not fun, and in a lot of ways can fill you up with resentment a little bit. My dogs have to eat. They have to go out and poop. I have to be the one to open the door for them. I have to be the one to feed them because I'm the one that works from home in my family. In a lot of ways, it holds you accountable. It holds you accountable in terms of you got to get up. You have to get up. And so, like I said, it's not so fun because on the days where we're not feeling good, like we just want to stay in bed and we want to bed rot, but you have to get up. I have to take them out. And those are the moments que aprovecho, or I take advantage of stepping outside and getting some sunlight on my skin. I can't explain the science behind it. Nature is just one of those things that are naturally healing. But I go outside, I take my sandals off, I plant my feet in the grass. Right now, it's something that works because I haven't thought ahead in terms of what are we going to do when the cold comes. But for now, sunlight seems to help. And so I'm going to stick with it. At nighttime, when I have to take my dogs out one last time, there are moments where the stars are just shining. The moon is out to play, and I just sit there. I wait for them to do what they need to do, and I just stare up. And there is just something that is so healing about it. So don't knock it until you try it. There's so many free resources that life has to offer that is equivalent to you prioritizing your self-care. I want you to almost make a list, side note, of all the things that you have going on a day-to-day basis. You're either going to come to find like, I wake up, I go to work, and I come back home. You're going to come to find I get up, I go to school, I talk to friends, I come back home, I do homework, and then that's it. You're gonna be able to go through the list of things that you do, and it's gonna stare back at you, and you're either gonna be extremely satisfied with it or extremely sad and resentful at it. And it starts with that. Also, even though there were moments where I just wanted to bed rot, I prioritize going out and actually doing the opposite of what it is that I thought my body wanted to do. And the only reason I did that, again, going back to like my luteal phase, I was staying stuck in these cycles. Like, yes, my body needed rest, but it didn't need me to ruminate on certain things. Yes, my body needed some downtime, but it didn't need me to obsessively think about the accomplishments that I never got to fulfill. Like, not helpful. And so I traveled some bit. And while I was really like tired, having to go catch like an early flight, it was really fun. And I'm so glad that I did it. And I'm so glad that I had a friend that extended the invite, and I'm glad that she thought about me. So things like that is like, don't say no to opportunities just because in that current moment you are stuck in a negative cycle. And if you're anything like me, like you're down to your last dollar almost every day. But regardless, like I just feel at this point, we just have to make do. We just have to make do. Unfortunately, it is up to us to make our own luck, which is so sad, but also so liberating perspective. It's all about perspective. But yeah, therapy is expensive. And hopefully, when I share the resources and the links, it might make things a little bit easier. But if that is still too much, again, social media is filled with therapists who share a whole bunch of free resources. You just have to go out and look for it. And also, going back to the community, finding people who, let's be honest, we're all kind of on the same page about everything being so expensive and we don't necessarily want to spend too much, right? So don't make it so much a point to do activities where you're going to have to spend money. Get creative and do other things. Go back to the things that your inner child is needing. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think, if anything, that is exactly what we have been missing. But I feel like I digress. I'm going to get ready to wrap the episode up. The key takeaways of prioritizing self-care on a budget, first and foremost, is awareness. Are you aware that you might be someone who has been neglecting self-care? If yes, go down this line. If no, what are the things that are helping you stay afloat that don't involve therapy? And if they do involve therapy, that's amazing. If you are someone that has not been prioritizing self-care and it's affecting you, take some inventory. Do you have community? Do you have people that you can confide in and chit chat and vent to? And most importantly, when you do need feedback, are they able to provide it for you? Do you have an outlet when people are not around and it's just you and your thoughts and you're able to get it down on paper? Or on a more creative aspect, creating something like music or paintings. What is your outlet when it just comes to you and your innermost thoughts? Number 3, do you have the thing that's going to force you to get out of bed? In my case, it's my puppuccinos. Forces me to get up and it forces me to get some movement in. Forgot what number I'm on, but sometimes it's okay to spend your last dollar on something that's going to make you feel good, something that's going to be yummy, something that's going to create some sort of memory. I'm the queen at going negative. It just is what it is. Yes, I have a budget, but sometimes I go off script. And looking back, I don't ever regret it. I have some of the best times, especially when they're last minute plans. I'm obviously not saying yes to things that are like extreme, but if somebody wants to go out to eat, I'm going to go out to eat. If I absolutely do not have it, my friends know that I'm going to say like, sorry sis, not this week, I can't. And the last thing, which I didn't really talk so much about, but just relieving the pressure off yourself. Just relieve that pressure. There is no blueprint to where you're supposed to be in life, especially when it comes to finance, especially the financial state that we're in as an economy. So take it easy on yourself. It is not that crazy. Don't forget to check the links out below. But that is it for this week's episode. I hope you can walk away with practicals. I hope you can walk away with a different perspective and overall just food for thought while we navigate this wild ride called millennialism or whatever. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to comment. Just share the love whenever you can. It's going to help me identify more of some talking points. If you have anything specific that you're going through, everything will remain anonymous. This is another thing, like hop on to other people's podcasts and see if you can get advice or a different perspective from there. Just something else that I thought about. But remember, we are all in this together. You are not alone in this journey. I'm sending you so much love, so much light. Take care of yourself. And remember, it is okay to not have it all figured out. Sincerely, Kat.